Hey there, my shipwrecked friends of this channel. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about 9 Soviet college students who in 1959 decided to go on a skiing expedition in the Ural Mountains, which are in Russia and are known as the Mountain of the Dead. They decided to go on this expedition, but they had no idea what was going to happen, and to this day no one knows what really happened. So if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, go ahead and subscribe and leave your like. It helps me bring more content and it's very important to me. And let's go together. They were 7 men and 2 women, all between 20 and 24 years old, and they had been practicing sports for years. Only their instructor, whose name was Igor Dyatlov, was 38 years old and was the one leading the expedition. It was supposed to be an expedition like any other. As I had already told you, they were used to practicing sports for years, so for them everything would be normal. On the way, one of the students, whose name was Yuri Udin, he felt sick, and so he decided to return from the expedition. Little did he know what was going to happen. This expedition began on January 27th. Many people knew about this expedition, so several traces of the path they took were found. However, on February 1st, many signs indicated that the weather would be bad, there would be a lot of storms, and this would cause them to lose their way. That's why they decided to stop along the way and set up camp. On the night of February 2nd, 1959, the group simply disappeared. They disappeared, and that's when the search began, right, for the people who were on the expedition. A team of professionals decided to look for them, but they found them at the place where they were camping. And it was something very strange because they were all dead in a very strange and bizarre situation. They were all spread out at a considerably large distance, all the bodies scattered kind of far from each other, right? Some of the bodies were naked or half naked, and all of them had very serious injuries. One had a crushed skull, another had their eyes hanging out, and there was a body that was even missing a tongue. The tent they were in was all damaged, incredibly torn from the inside and outside. The bodies had radiation levels above their clothing, and some bodies had an orange or grayish coloration. Something that was very strange to them. What was even more bizarre is that some of the bodies were without clothes and others had some torn clothing, which indicated that other bodies that were found dead had taken the clothes from those who were already dead to keep themselves warm because they possibly had lost their own clothes or they needed more clothing on their own bodies. This is a very strange and bizarre point in this whole story. This is also something that would explain the bodies without clothes, since the temperature there was around 29 to 30 degrees Celsius negative. Guys, there have been several investigations into this. The situation in which the bodies were found and the way everything happened really left the authorities with no way out. So they decided to close this case as an unknown natural force. We'll look at this a little later. The authorities also decided that the cause of death would be hypothermia due to the cold, but that didn't really stick. For many people who understood that the bodies suffered some kind of violence because of the state they were in, hypothermia wouldn't be something that could be explained. And of course, this was a full plate for conspiracy theory lovers like us, right? So there were some theories. Some of the theories were about Soviet weapons tests due to the level of radiation that was found on the clothes. Other theories also came up, like it could have been aliens, extraterrestrials, and even the Yeti, which is the story there, about the abominable snowman. Or even that it could have been attacks by the Mansi natives, an indigenous group that is in the process of extinction and lived there in Khanty-Mansi, which is a Russian territory near where the incident happened. But guys, as incredible as it may seem, there was no sign of a struggle, nor any indication that anyone had arrived at the site, not by footprints, nor by the condition of the place. It was very strange. However, in the end, the most plausible explanation was that they were caught by a small and silent avalanche. And could that explain the possible sequence of events that happened at the site, how the condition of the bodies would be, and how everything happened? Even so, what makes it even stranger is that there was no evidence of an avalanche at the site. There was no evidence at all about the missing tongue of one of the women in the group, as I mentioned earlier in the video. They believe that some animal got there and ate it, just like with the other bodies as well. What would the struggle be? They think an animal may have gone there and eaten parts of the body. But that's also very strange because it wouldn't explain the crushed skull, the bulging eyes, and other things as well. In a case like this, guys, the investigations become pure speculation. But what about you? What do you think happened to them? Leave your theory here in the comments. This case became known as the Dyatlov Pass incident, which would be the name of the book after the group's leader and idol, Igor Dyatlov. That's why they called it the Dyatlov Pass incident, guys. This incident is known as one of the greatest mysteries of the last century. There was also the curious case of Yuri Hud, who left the expedition on January 28, 1959, right? Because he got sick. So he decided to go back, and he died on April 27, 2013 at the age of 75, guys. April 27 is my birthday. That's bizarre. From this case, the movie The Mystery of the Death Pass was also made. I'll leave it here. I recommend this movie to you. And these are the most general facts, right, about this case. And what I can tell you is that the fact is we'll never know what happened that day. Guys, so what do you think happened? For God's sake, leave it in the comments. And thank you so much for watching another video on the channel. I ask you to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't yet, activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. And share this video with more people so they can also learn about this case. And follow other cases here on the channel. I cover mysteries and criminal horror cases here on the channel. It's really good, guys. Thank you very much and see you in the next video. I'm out.